we were discussing the terms which are related to coordination compounds. Okay, some terms we have already discussed. First one was about the central metal atom. Central metal atom, and then another one was metal atom or ion. Okay, and the second one we have discussed was ligand. Yes. Okay, I believe it was clear. Metals were the acceptors and the ligands were the donors. Okay, so we name this as Lewis acid because they can accept the electron pair, whereas ligands are the one who can donate the electron pair, so they were named as Lewis base. Okay, then you have seen the different classification of the ligands based on the charge we have discussed, and then we have discussed based on how many donor atoms are present. Okay, so then this part we have completed, and now we will proceed with the next. So we'll move on with the third term. Okay, the next one, that is coordination number. Okay, so coordination number is to the metal. Okay, so if you have a central metal atom, to that metal how many ligands are exactly attached. Okay, to this how many ligands are exactly attached. Okay, that will be called as coordination number. Okay, so remember coordination number, you had coordination number even in solid state. Do you remember that? But in the solid state, we were talking about the atoms, correct? Constituent particles. So in that case, if you remember, I had told you the number of particles which are exactly attached to this particular atom. Now, if I am taking this as a center atom, how many atoms are exactly attached to them? That was called as coordination number. Even here, it's like that. Here, we are talking in terms of metal. Okay, so here our main focus is on the metal, and to the metal how many ligands are exactly attached. Okay, so that will be called as coordination number. So if I give you few molecules, you should be able to tell me what is the coordination number. Okay, so your first example I'm taking here, platinum, Cl6 2 minus. Okay, this is the complex ion. Now they are in the form of ion. So you can see here platinum is the central metal atom. Okay, you can see students, platinum is a central metal atom, and how many chloride ions are exactly attached to that? 6 chloride ions are present. Okay, so that means coordination number for this particular complex will be 6. Okay, so here coordination number, I'll just write Cn, coordination number is 6. Understood? Because chloride over here is a monodentate ligand, and you know one chloride ion can give you only one electron pair. So like that, if you are having 6, that means 6 electron pair is given to the metal to bind with them. So that means 6 bonds are there. Okay, so coordination number is 6 here. Second example, if I am taking now here, see nickel, NH3, 4. Now, can you all tell me what is the coordination number for this? First one I have done. I believe it is understood. Yeah, to the nickel, how many ligands are exactly attached? Yeah, very good. Correct. So coordination number here will be 4. Okay. Because again, ammonia can give you only one electron pair. No, like that 4 ammonia molecules are there. You can see here NH3 4 times. Don't multiply this. Huh? Okay. Don't multiply 3 4s are 12 and write 12. Okay. This one whole NH3 is one molecule which is giving one electron pair. So like that we are having 4. It is put in the bracket. So it's clear. Okay. This bracket thing is 1. And outside number will tell you how many ligands are present. Yeah, so coordination number is 4. Okay, next now. See in this case, Fe, C2O4, 3, 2 minus. What is this C2O4? What is this C2O4 here? Oxalate. Yeah, very good. Correct. So it's oxalate ion. Correct, no? And how many oxalate ions are there? 3. Now, what is the donation which is done by oxalate ion? How many electrons an oxalate, one oxalate ion can give? One oxalate ion can give how many electron? You have learned this yesterday, no? They come under bidentate category. Bidentate means who can donate 2 electron pair. Correct. So if I am having one oxalate ion present, they will donate 2. So like that you are having now 3. So 3 into 2. So that will be 6. Okay, good. So answer is 6 here because one oxalate can give you 2. So like that, if you are having 3 oxalate, it will give you 6. Okay, so here in this case, coordination number is 6. You should be very careful now. Don't write 3, okay, because the ligand which is attached to the metal is bidentate. So by themselves, they are having 2 bond. Okay, so it is 6. I believe it is understanding to everyone. If it is bidentate, then you have to multiply with 2. Okay, 2 into whatever number of ligands are present. Yes, now this tell me, what is the coordination number for this complex? Everyone, I want everyone to reply. 6. Yes, very good. And how is it 6? Because you are having 4 ammonia and then there is 2 chlorine. Okay, and all of these are monodentate ligands. So coordination number is 6. Good, correct. Coordination number is 6. Now one more compound, this also, CO. Okay, it's cobalt, CO, En3. 3 plus is the complex. Okay, now can you tell me what is the coordination number for this? Yes, very good. 6. 6 is the correct answer because En is ethane 1, 2 diamine. Yeah, ethane 1, 2 diamine. So that means they will donate 2 electron pair. And 2 into 3, so it is 6. Okay, so coordination number is 6. So this is all about the coordination number. How many ligands are directly attached to the central metal atom? Okay, the donor atom, ligand's donor atom directly means the number of bonds which are there directly attached to the metal. That will be coordination number. Yeah, make a note of this. Yes, we'll go for the next. Okay, next is coordination sphere. Okay, now see what is a coordination sphere is. See, coordination sphere, I will explain with the example. Now, suppose if I have this as a complex, CO, NH3, 6, Cl3. Okay. So, if this is the complex, students, then whatever is written inside the square bracket, no, whatever is written inside this square bracket, that is called as coordination sphere. Okay. This part is called as coordination. Okay, this is your coordination sphere. And the ion which is present outside, I have told you this, when you dissolve this particular complex in the water, they will break down. Okay, how are they going to break down? They will break down. Okay, this whole thing will come out as one ion and this will go as a separate ion. Okay, that is how they are going to break down. And further, Cu and NH3 is not going to break into cobalt and ammonia ion. Okay, so how are they going to break down? Only 2 ions will be formed. Okay, so you will be getting CO, NH3, 6. Okay, and that 3 which is there, okay, this 3 has come from the complex itself. So I can write here it is 3 plus. Okay, because chloride are negative ions always. So this will be Cl minus. So this is how they will break down. Okay, so the ion which will dissociate, okay, or I can say which will ionize and go into the solution. Okay, this ion is called as counter ion. This outside ion is there, no? This is called as counter ion, which is ionizable and they will get dissociated and they will go into the solution. Whereas this part is there, no? Which is put in the square bracket, this whole part will remain as it is. Okay, they will remain intact because of the bonding which is present present between them, a strong bonding is there between them, it's not easy to break down, so it will remain as it is. That part is the coordination sphere part. I hope it's understanding. If I have this complex, okay, so here this whole part is the coordination. This whole part is a coordination sphere part, and this ion which is present outside the square bracket, that will be the counter ion. Okay, I can give you another example also. Like again, if I take some other complex, this one, okay, the common one which I've taken everywhere, K4 FeCN6. Okay, so you know that how are they going to break down? They will give you potassium ion, and then remaining will be your this ion FeCN6, and this will be for minus. Okay, so this ion which is present outside, that will get ionized and they will go into the solution. Okay, so this outer one is the counter ion. Okay, this outer one is a counter ion which is ionizable, whereas this part which is remaining as it is, that is a coordination sphere which consists of a metal. Okay, they have a metal and they have the fixed number of ligands which are attached to the metal. Okay, so that is our coordination sphere. So I have put the definition here. You can see the central metal atom and the ligands attached to it is enclosed in the square bracket. I have told you just now. Okay, and together they are called as coordination sphere. The ion which is present outside the ionizable group, okay, which is written outside the bracket, that is called as counter ion. Yeah, you can make a note of this now. Coordination sphere. Example, I will write it down. Okay, example I am writing here. The same example which I took just now. CONH3 6 Cl3. Okay, this is our coordination sphere. I'll just write CS, coordination sphere, and this is the counter ion. Counter ion. Counter ion, and this is your coordination sphere. Yes. Okay, now the next one is coordination polyhedron. Okay, coordination polyhedron is, if I have to tell you in simple word, it is a geometrical arrangement of the ligands. Okay, geometrical arrangement of the ligand around the central metal atom. So this we have taken according to VACPR theory. You remember, no? In VACPR theory, when you have many electron pair, you can't put them together. Okay, this I have told you. When you have many electrons, they cannot be occupying together. So what they try to do? They try to arrange themselves in such a manner that there is maximum distance and minimum repulsion. Yeah, maximum distance and minimum repulsion. So if I am having two electron pair now, suppose if I have metal here in the center, and if I have two electron pairs of the ligand, then how will they arrange themselves? Yeah. So one will go in this direction, one will be going in the other direction. Okay, angle between them will be 180 degree. Okay, donation will be from the ligand side. Okay, this arrow mark I have just shown to show you the position. Okay, so your arrow mark will be from the ligand, because you know ligands are the one who is donating the electrons. So this way. Okay, so if you are having two electron pair, yeah, this is the way they will get arranged. So this is a spatial arrangement of the ligands where directly attached to the metal. Okay, that is called as coordination polyhedron. Okay, geometrical arrangement. Okay, it's clear. So here if I am having two ligand, this is how they will arrange themselves. Then if you are having three, you know, 3 means I will have metal over here, and then these ligands will arrange themselves in this fashion, correct? 120 degree angle each, trigonal planar, yes. So I will have 3 ligands in this fashion. Okay, so this is for 2 and then 3. Then I will discuss. Okay, after that you are having different geometrical arrangement, like you are having the most commonly used here. Okay, for this coordination compound you will come across, one is octahedral, then you are having square planar, and then tetrahedral. Okay, these will be the common ones which you will be coming across. Okay, more than that you don't have. So I will tell you how to arrange these ligands in this fashion also. So first write down what is coordination polyhedron. The spatial arrangement of the ligands. Spatial means the three-dimensional arrangement. Okay, in the space how they get oriented. So that is called as spatial arrangement. Spatial arrangement of the ligands atom which are directly attached to the central metal atom or the ion. That is called as coordination polyhedron. So this is where the definition stops. After that, they are saying the most common ones will be octahedral, square planar, and tetrahedral. Yeah, for this you should remember that chemical bonding. So most of the structure we are going to discuss from there itself. Yes, let's see the different spatial arrangement we are having. So first one I will take with 4. Okay, if there are 4 ligands, then the common one you remember, students, if you are having 4, like methane. Methane has 4 hydrogen, no? In methane, carbon is having 4 hydrogen attached. So then how is exactly the geometrical shape of methane, you remember? Can you tell me what is the shape exactly if you are having 4? Yes, very good, correct. Tetrahedral, yeah? Tetrahedral. And how do you arrange this tetrahedral structure? This is how it is, no? See, I will take the metal in the center. Tetrahedral is where you are having 3 bonds down in this fashion. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Always I tell this is like that 3-leg chair is there, no? So 3 you will have down and then 1 pointing up. So like this. Okay. So you will have 4 ligands oriented in this fashion. Okay. This is tetrahedral geometry. If there is 4 ligands attached to the metal, this is one geometrical arrangement. Okay. If you join here, these points, if you join, okay, all the center. Okay, if you join together, then you will end up getting 4 faces. So it is called as tetrahedral. Okay, even this point. Okay, in this way. So everywhere you will get 4 faces. Okay, 4 triangle faces you will be able to get. So it is named as tetrahedral. Another shape is there which you have not come across. Okay, this is a new one and based on the hybridization also. So another one is in this fashion. Okay, so central metal atom in the center. And then 4 ligands can arrange themselves even in this fashion. Okay, this way. So you can see here ligands are there. So this will give rise to a square. If I join these points together, okay, if I join all these points together, I will get a square. Okay, and this will be on the plane. It's 2-dimensional, no, it is not 3-dimensional. Okay, you are having only x-axis and y-axis, x-axis and y-axis, only 2 dimensions are there. So it will give rise to a planar structure. So this particular structure is called as square planar. Okay, this is square planar. It's on the plane. Okay, this one is 3-dimensional, so tetrahedral. Okay, so for 4 bonds, 2 possible structures we can have, square planar and tetrahedral. Okay, now if you are having 5 bonds, 5 bonds means the way we can arrange them. Okay, 3 will be on the plane and 1 above and 1 below the plane. Okay, in this way, metal I have taken in the center, 1, 2 and then 3. Okay, 4th one will be up and 5th one will be down. Okay, so this will be the ligand. So in this way, here. So if you join this, what is the shape you will be able to get here if I join all of these? See here, on the plane we are having 3 ligands, no? So if I join this, I will get a triangle. Okay, so I'll get a triangle and this point, if you join it together this way, okay, you will get 1 pyramid up and then again you will get 1 pyramid down. 1 pyramid will be down here. Okay, so this is called as trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, because your base is like a triangle and then you are getting 2 pyramids. So it is called as trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, so this is for 5. And 6th one, like if you are having 6 ligands approaching the metal, then the orientation will be like this: 4 on the plane, okay, 1 above the plane and 1 below the plane. Okay, so here we are having these 4 ligands. Okay, let the arrow mark be towards the metal this way. Okay, 4 on the plane if I join it like this, and then see, take the above point and then join it to the ligands which are there on the plane. Yeah, so you will get, here you can see this is the structure. The number of faces you are going to get will be 8. So it is called as octahedral. Okay, this shape is octahedral. So octahedral, and here you are getting 4 faces, so it is called as tetrahedral. Okay, so this will be the geometry. So this geometry is important later also when we are talking about the way they are going to bind and then explain the formation of the complex. Then they will ask you the geometry also. So I believe it's clear. It's just the orientation part. Okay, if there are 4, then this goes according to the hybridization. So that time also again I will repeat. Okay, based on what hybridization, what kind of geometry you will be able to get. So here tetrahedral. For 4, remember tetrahedral and square planar is possible. For 5, we have trigonal bipyramidal, and for 6, it is octahedral. Okay, so you can draw this, students. You can write down few example after that. See here, cobalt NH3 6. 6 ligands are there. Okay, this 6 comes down. Okay, students. So just remove the 6 from up. Write it down. Okay, as a suffix. So here this 6 will show you octahedral geometry, and then here nickel CO4. Okay, 4 is again down. So this will be tetrahedral, and then here platinum Cl4 is showing square planar. Okay, so I have told you this depends on the hybridization. Based on that, you will get different geometrical shape. Okay, so now for time being, you remember this. Okay, you will be having a confusion now how to understand that whether it is tetrahedral if the ligands are given. 4 ligands are given, how to understand whether it is tetrahedral or square planar. So I said it depends on the hybridization which is undergoing, okay, in that particular complex. So when we are doing that, you will be able to differentiate for both. Okay.